Yo, what's up, guys? Milan lose 2-0 to Napoli in the Super Cup semi-final, guys. Man, oh man, what a brutal performance this was today by Milan, guys. A waste of 2 hours, honestly. Just a pretty putrid and flat performance by Milan today, guys. In the first half, I thought Milan were not horrible in the first half, but obviously they squandered some opportunities. Milan and Napoli were both, swapping possession a little bit, sitting back. Milan had possession a little bit, Napoli would sit back. Napoli would have possession, Milan would sit back a little bit. It was a very back and forth game, a little bit like that. It was a little bit flat at times in the first half, very boring, wasn't very exciting to say the least. Now, Milan had a couple of half chances, like Cheek had a chance, Rabiot had a chance. Milan were making a lot of crosses into this game, and then we also had the great opportunity off the corner kick there that Nkunku unfortunately squandered there. To me, that was Milan's best opportunity of the game, to say the least. Even Salamakers, if he had just waited an extra second or two, he could have passed it to the left or to Christian Pulisic, but unfortunately wasn't patient enough. Made a bad pass to Nkunku that was a bit behind him, unfortunately slowed the play down, and then Nkunku skied it over the net there. So that was one of Milan's best opportunities, like I mentioned, if not their best. And even in the second half, though, after Napoli had scored the goal, you know what I mean, guys? Like, that first goal that Napoli scored before the second half was just, it was a horrendous goal to give up. Coney de Winter, I can't stand this guy. Honestly, I'm sorry. This guy here is not of Milan quality. Milan have wasted 20 million euros on this guy. He is just not good enough to be wearing the red and black. Not good enough defending Rasmus Højlund on that first goal, obviously. He lets Højlund turn his back and cross it to the front of the net there. Maignan doesn't do a good enough job to get in front of the ball there. And Pavlovic is not in the right position and leaving David Neres wide open for the first goal of the game. A completely avoidable goal that Milan could have avoided giving up. And, Napoli were able to be clinical enough in that moment there to score the goal to make it 1-0 for them. And that was the difference, if you guys ask me, in this entire matchup, is that Napoli were clinical enough in their opportunities and Milan wasn't. And it's the same thing in the second half. Guys, Napoli didn't have many chances either in that second half, but the one chance they get, Rasmus Højlund one-on-one with, again, Coney de Winter. He's able to beat him one-on-one and beat Maignan far post. And in. Honestly, Coney de Winter's positioning isn't good enough. He's not good enough to play in the center of a back three, of course. Mattia Gabbia was so sorely missed today. And every game that de Winter plays in or comes in on, you just know that it's going to be a loss or a draw points. You just know. I even saw when de Winter was starting in this game today, I tweeted saying, it's a loss already. And look, ironically enough, it was. The guy is just not good enough to play for Milan, guys. And then Milan in the attack today, they were just flat. Not good enough. Pulisic wasn't great. Nkunku wasn't great. Rabiot got a yellow card in the middle of the game there, so he had to be careful. And the refereeing was a joke as well, guys. Don't get me wrong. He gets the first yellow card of the game, which is absolutely bloody pathetic if you ask me. But the entire team just was flat. Jashari starting his second game. I didn't think he was horrible. I thought he played okay today. It's only his second official match since being back from the fibula injury. So I thought he was okay today. He wasn't horrible, but Stupin wasn't great today. Salamakers wasn't amazing today. The entire team was just not good today, guys. It was just one of those games that Milan looked like they went on a mini vacation to Saudi Arabia, and now they're going back to Italy. They just were not good enough today. Napoli were the more clinical side today, and they did what they had to do to get the 2-0 result today, guys. Milan squandered their chances, didn't create enough chances, were doing too many obvious things with trying to cross the ball in, didn't threaten Napoli enough in this game, guys. It just was not a great performance by Milan today, and they deserve to lose this game today, guys. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, guys. There is just no way to twist it. Napoli deserve to win this game today, guys. Milan deserve to go home. They just were not good enough today, guys. Now, obviously some good news this week. We saw Salamakers extending till 2031, which is great. Obviously, a well-deserved contract extension. He's been spectacular for Milan this year. Obviously had those great stints at Bologna and Roma, of course. So a well-deserved extension for Salamakers. Obviously winning a Scudetto with Milan in 22. So I love that they extended him. Not expensive either, guys. Like 3.5 million euros, 3 to 3.5 million euros. Cheap deal as well on salary, guys. So great extension for Alexis Salamakers. Now, obviously, some bad news as well. You are missing Santi Jimenez for the next 2 months. Unfortunately, he's going to get ankle surgery. Obviously, you knew that clearly there was something wrong with Jimenez because his performances were absolutely horrendous for Milan. So you knew there was an issue with him. He's getting ankle surgery. He's going to be out for 2 months at least. So that's why you've been hearing the news about Nicholas Füllkrug coming to Milan. Obviously, there was some chatter about him last summer possibly coming to Milan, but nothing came to fruition, of course, guys. So now it seems like Milan are going to go all in for the German forward. 32 years old, guys. You know, he's a good player. Obviously, he hasn't scored a lot for West Ham, but he was really good at Dortmund, really good at Werder Bremen. So he's had some really good stints in Germany, of course, but this is Italy. This is Serie A. It's a different beast. Of course, we obviously see a guy like Nkunku, who obviously dominated in the Bundesliga, who's struggling in Serie A to find his feet. You know, obviously had a great chance today. And listen, Nkunku, the 40 million, I never liked the signing for 40 million euros. I was jaw-dropped when they signed the guy for 40 million euros. But you're obviously going to give the guy a chance to support him because he plays for the club. But my God, the management have really done a horrendous job with those two purchases of Nkunku in the winter. 60 million euros on two guys that have not been effective enough for a club that only plays once a bloody week, especially like a guy in Nkunku you're spending 40 million on. I know he's had some injury issues this year. Doesn't get a starting spot, obviously, over Leao and Pulisic, which is obviously justified. But to spend 40 million on this guy, to just drop him on Allegri's lap and say, here, work your miracles on the guy, is just horrendous business by Milan's management. And we all know how incompetent these people are, of course. You know, these people just throw money stupidly. Like you spent 17 on the Stupian, 20 on the Winter, 40 on Nkunku, 77 million euros on guys that sit on the bench and that have been ineffective for the squad the first 5.5, 6 months of the season. It has not been good enough by Milan's management. Milan have squandered some chances this season, guys. You know, dropping too many points this year. You know, dropping this game today against Napoli, having lackluster performances. Some of these games have not been good enough. Some of the players they have purchased have not been good enough, guys. You know, this is all down to management. There are some things that drive me nuts with Allegri, of course. You know, obviously sticking to the 3-5-2, maybe go to a 3-4-3. You know, I prefer Ricci playing in the 6 over Jashari, but it seems like Allegri's intent on playing Jashari there instead of Ricci, which is okay to me, but as long as Ricci gets minutes, but that's obviously due to the fact that Milan only play once a week, guys. But this performance today was just a boring, flat, and just a very bad performance by Milan today, guys. Napoli deserve to go on through, like I've been saying this video. There are some serious issues that Milan need to sort out in the January transfer window. Got to get a striker, get an experienced center back, guys. Those are the two needs that Milan absolutely need to fill in January. I cannot handle watching Coney de Winter come off the bench anymore. Go get me Thiago Silva. Go get me that reunion I've been wanting for years. Go get him. Go get Füllkrug on a 6-month loan with an option to buy. Those are the moves that I'm making for Milan in January, guys, to improve this team. And then we'll see what happens then, guys. Milan now have a 10-day break. I'm pretty sure that seems to be the case. They don't play till December 20th against Verona. I'm pretty sure. I got to double check that. But if that's the case, you get a 10-day break. Hopefully Rafa's back in time for that game. Fofana came back from injury, of course. Let's hope these guys get some rest. And let's hope to God Milan get back on the winning side of things, because you drop points to Sassuolo. You lose to Napoli now. The last 2 games have not been very bright for Milan, guys. So let's hope to God things turn around for them in their next game. But this performance, to say the least, let's just forget about this game here. And let's hope to God we just see a better, improved performance in the next game. Let's hopefully we get Bartosagi starting back next game. Gabbia next game. Let's get our starters back. Let's hope Leao's ready to go, guys. But we'll see you guys on the next video. Click like if you like this video. Subscribe if you guys want to see more content. Forza Milan sempre as always, guys. If you don't watch the sports, you're a mark. We'll see you guys in the next episode of Rock One Filter. Ciao, guys.